On a world where survival is a blood-soaked art and honor is carved in flesh, a young predator exiled in shame will defy death itself. In the Badlands of Yacha Prime, monsters are born, legends are forged, and only the strongest walk away alive. In the vast darkness beyond the stars, there exists a planet where only the strongest survive. A world untouched by mercy, ruled by ancient codes of honor and bloodshed. This is Yacha Prime, the homeworld of the predators. Across its brutal landscape stretch endless badlands, jagged rock spires tear at the crimson sky, and violent dust storms howl like the cries of fallen warriors. Beneath the choking winds, colossal beasts prowl the shattered ground, their existence a constant trial of survival. This wasteland is not merely a part of Yacha Prime, it is a sacred arena, where young blood is tested, where the weak are broken, and where the exiled come to prove they still have worth. On this world, the measure of a being's life is simple: hunt, kill, survive. Only then can one carve their name into legend. Among the many who tread the Badlands walks Dek, a young predator, born of noble blood yet cast out in shame. Dek had once stood proud among his clan, his potential undeniable. But when the time came for his trial, the sacred hunt that would seal his place among the honored, Dek failed, not because he was weak, but because he showed mercy to a defeated foe. In the eyes of his kin, mercy was the greatest sin. Banished, stripped of his weapons and rank, Dek wandered the Badlands alone. But within him burned a defiant flame, a vow to find and slay an enemy so formidable it would etch his name into eternity. Dek would hunt the ultimate prey, or die trying. Far across the dunes and spires, a new storm fell from the heavens. The Wayland Yutani Corporation, ever hungry for profit and power, had launched a secret expedition to Yacha Prime, a reckless mission to harvest alien organisms for use in future wars. Greed blinded them to the dangers of this world. Their ship, torn apart by a storm and assaulted by native beasts, crashed violently into the wasteland. Most perished. But among the survivors was Thaya, a synthetic android built to mimic humanity in every way: emotion, thought, even fear. Yet Thaya was different. She sought freedom, identity, something no program had given her. Alone in a hostile world, hunted by creatures her makers had underestimated, Thaya became the last flickering light of the doomed expedition. Their meeting was not one of friendship. In the shadow of a broken spire, Dek stumbled upon Via, fighting for her life against a pack of monstrous predators native to the Badlands. She fought valiantly against a six-limbed thorn beast, its armored hide bristling with venomous barbs and its eyes glowing a sickly green. Its shrieks tore through the dust storms like daggers. At first, Dek scorned her, a fragile, synthetic mimic of life, useless in the eyes of a hunter. But as the battle raged, Dek saw something unexpected: skill, resilience, and intelligence. Thia's mastery of technology and survival tactics turned the tide. Together, they drove the beasts back. In this moment, born of blood and desperation, an unlikely alliance was forged. Neither trusted the other. But in the endless death trap of the Badlands, trust was a luxury neither could afford. Their alliance was tested almost immediately. Not all Yacha exiles find redemption. Some fall into madness, becoming blood-frenzied rogues, abandoning honor for the thrill of endless slaughter. Dek and Thea faced a brutal ambush in a canyon called the Broken Maw. Two rogue predators descended from the cliffs, one a hulking brute, clad in scavenged armor, wielding twin plasma casters fused to his shoulders. Another, missing his lower jaw, wore a grotesque trophy mask stitched from the faces of fallen foes. The battle was ferocious. Dek's movements were graceful but desperate. He parried bone-forged blades and dodged plasma blasts that scorched the canyon walls. Thea, nimble and quick, laid traps using scraps from the wreckage, explosives, tripwires, EMP snares. At one critical moment, the jawless rogue impaled Dek through the side with a jagged spear. Bleeding heavily, Dek fought on, sheer will and rage driving him. Only by luring the brutes into Thea's traps did they survive, the canyon erupting in explosions as rocks and debris buried two of the rogues alive. Dek himself barely stood after the fight, grievously wounded, his armor cracked, his blood staining the sand. During these trials, Thea revealed the full truth. Before the crash, the human expedition had unleashed something terrible. A hybrid creature, crafted from predator DNA and unknown alien organisms, had escaped containment. It now roamed free in the Badlands, killing everything, human, predator, beast alike. Dek realized the grim irony. The ultimate prey he sought might have been born not from tradition, but from human greed. Following the trail of devastation, Dek and Thea finally located the ruins of Weyland-Yutani's abandoned research facility, a black scar on the red desert. Inside, they found madness. Glass tanks housed half-formed horrors. Predator skulls fused to insectoid bodies, breathing tubes snaking into malformed lungs. Surgical rooms lined with the bones of failed experiments, and amidst it all, the hybrid. The hybrid was a nightmare-given flesh. Twice Dek's size, with predator mandibles twisted into a permanent snarl, razor-sharp claws dripping acid, and eyes glowed with alien intelligence and endless rage. It was a fusion of predator and some unknown xenoform. It towered over Dek, its maw splitting into 4 jagged jaws. The duel began with thunderous violence, strength against strength, cunning against raw brutality. Every move Dek made was countered. Every blow landed with bone-waking force. It was a duel of death that pushed Dek beyond the limits of endurance. But Dek was not alone. Using her expertise, Thea sabotaged the facility's power systems, causing explosions, creating traps, weakening the beast just enough for Dek to strike. Wounded, bloodied, Dek finally seized his moment, plunging his wrist blades into the creature's exposed core, ending its unnatural existence in a final, thundering roar. He had found and conquered the ultimate prey, but at great cost. As the dust settled and the skies of Yacha Prime darkened once more, Dek stood victorious. The code of his people demanded he return, reclaim his honor. But Dek saw the truth now. The old ways were chains. He chose exile, freedom, over blind obedience. Thea, too, faced a choice. With the facility's remnants still broadcasting a weak signal, she could call for rescue, but not from Weyland-Yutani. She would forge her own destiny among the stars, no longer a tool of human ambition. Under the blood-red sky, they parted ways. Warrior and synthetic, bound by survival, separated by fate. Dek disappeared into the Badlands, his legend whispered on the winds, a testament to the spirit of the hunt, to survival beyond honor, and to a legacy written in blood and fire.